Good morning, everybody. It's Kim from Inside My Money, and welcome. We are going to answer another subscriber's questions. So thank you very much for the questions. I really do like getting them because then I know exactly what you need to know, and I can just answer those and show you what I know. So this question related to the payment types inside of Homebank and how we can best use those. And also there was part of it was about whether you have one account, say like a spending account, and then you categorize your payment types differently, so maybe credit card, debit card, FPOS, bank transfer, and then you can see you do your analysis that way, or do you split it out over a number of different accounts? Now, I prefer the second way, and that's because if they're credit card transactions, that's a debt that needs to be repaid, and so that's quite a different beast than an everyday account where you could be using maybe a debit card for part of it, or FPOS, or ATM transactions or transfers. So I tend to split those two out, and you'll see with Abby and Sam, our fictitious characters, that's what I've done there. Everything in the credit card is purely credit card transactions, apart from a transfer from the everyday account to the credit card to clear that debt. And then everything in the everyday account is a mixture of things. Now, they don't have a debit card, but you could easily have a separate debit card account, or if it was a debit card inside of a normal account, then you could do that as well. So we'll focus on the everyday account today, and I'll show you how you can use the payment transaction side of things, and then what maybe we can look at when we do our reporting. So I've already posted over some of the April transactions. We haven't finished putting everything in, but these are mostly the bills that we've already got in our scheduled transactions. And I've already just categorized some of the bills so that you can see what I'm meaning. So if I pick these, you'll see that we do rent, groceries. This is a regular payment for some of their fruit and veggies, and they do that all the time. So if you have a look at this transaction here for rent, the payment type, you've got a bunch to choose from, and I've chosen electronic payment. Now, the reason I've done that is because I want to split those bills and have them all separate. So if I ever change bank accounts, if Abby and Sam ever change banks, and they want to see what transfers they need to set up in their new bank, then they can just do a quick search or a quick filter on the electronic payment category, and then they can say, right, I need to make sure that when I'm changing over to a new bank, I set up the electronic payments for my telephone and my rent and my insurance, etc. So that's quite helpful from that point of view. So that's how you do that. Now, how you actually make that happen is I'll choose a few more, and remember, you can pick all these in one go and then go down the bottom and click the edit multiple transactions, and click payment, and then click electronic payment and OK, and they'll all be done for you. Now let's say, for instance, though, that they took some money out, and we'll add a new transaction, and we'll pick the 22nd of April, and let's say they took $100 out, and we would pick cash, and let's say at the moment it's miscellaneous, and add that. Now, if you have a lot of these types of transactions where you've got a lot of bits and pieces of money that you're pulling out of ATMs, and then you don't keep the receipts because the people don't these days, you spend it, and then you think at the end of the month, holy cow, where did that money go? And it's $100 and maybe $50 and $20, and before you know it, $500 a month has gone out in cash ATM spending, and you don't know where that's gone. So that can be quite frustrating because you're like, well, where's the money going? And you don't know why you're not saving. So in this case, what you can do is you can, instead of putting it to miscellaneous, if you do have just maybe a little piece of paper or something, and you write down what you've spent, then you can start to split those out and find out where the money's going. So if you had a lot of these types of transactions, first of all, by making them cash payments, you can see that you've got quite a few. So you know that you're doing that, and you can think, I need to change my behavior here, because $500 a month or $200 a month is going to cash miscellaneous. So that's why you would categorize it as a payment with a little cash sign. And if you labeled it miscellaneous, you're like, okay, I can definitely see what that's happening. So then once you know that's happening, you can say, right, well, let me maybe just on a piece of paper, just write down what I've spent with that cash. Or you can start to keep your receipts. Then you can split it. And so you can then go in and say, well, I've got $100 out. I know that $50 went to eating out, and I know that $50 went to entertainment. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, let's just show you how to do that. So what we would do is we would just click this little split sign here, and we would say maybe it went to personal care because you had to pay for some prescriptions, for instance. So personal care, and you just make sure you always put your minus sign in front, minus $50, and then the other $50, maybe it went to, you bought a t-shirt. And that's the minus, and you've got to click the plus, and then you know that you've assigned that whole $100, and you can go OK. Now you might still have some miscellaneous as a payee. You know that it's still cash, but you're starting to track where that money's going in a much better way. Now there's a couple of other transactions that are going out here, and I'll just show you the difference between a bank transfer and an actual transfer. So each month Abby and Sam pay themselves $60 a week allowance, so $240 a month allowance. They get $60 a week. It goes from their joint account into their individual accounts, and then they can play with that money as much. They can do whatever they want with it, but it's not draining their joint account. So in this situation, you might categorize that as a bank transfer, whereas with the actual transfer of savings that they're making, so they put $300 a month from their everyday account to their emergency fund, that's an actual transfer transaction. So there's no payment. We can see there's no payment category here because it doesn't need one, because the transaction itself is a transfer of money from between their accounts. So that's the two different symbols there. That one is a bank transfer. So you could also make, like the AIA, that could be a bank transfer, but I've just put it as electronic payment so that I separate out the bills from the other types of transactions. So now if we have a look at it from a reporting side, the actual reports don't allow you to categorize or to sort and filter in that by pay or number. So what you can do instead is, if you're in your account and you want to see, okay, in the last 3 months, how much have I spent at ATMs, or what are the bills that I'm paying, or what are the sort of the other bank transfers that I'm paying, then what you would do is you would go up inside of the account and you would just say, let's say last 90 days, and you would then click on that to sort. Now, and that would show you that you have all of these as electronic transfers or bills that you pay. If you highlight all of them, then you can go up here and you can see up here you have the sum of 2,905 goes out in bills. And you can obviously get all the different people that you're paying in bills. If you wanted to instead look at your ATM transactions, then again you would just go in and you would highlight all the ATM transactions, and you would see that $265 went out in cash to ATM transactions. One thing I will say though is, in order for you to get the whole range of payment types, you will need to go up into preferences, edit preferences, and go over to payment. So this is where you can see all the different things in the background for Homebank. Choose payment, and then just tick all the ones that you want to use. So you might get rid of some of these. For instance, FI fees, mobile phone might be for Apple Pay, so you could choose that one. Standing orders, you might choose those for your bills instead. You've got debit cards and transfers and checks. Checks, they don't exist anymore hardly. So those might be what you do there, and then obviously they'll come up correctly. Now, I hope that's answered the question. Please, if you do have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask. I do have some other things that I'm going to show you and launch in the next couple of posts. There's some exciting stuff. I've just finished my new website, Inside My Money, and I'm going to be showing you a few different things on there. It's an extension of what I do with Homebank, so I'm quite excited to be able to launch that to you. There'll be a period of time when I want to get that tested, and so I'll be offering everybody here a chance to have a look at that website and test everything for me for free for a few months. So look forward to that. That will be in my next post. Otherwise, enjoy. Please, lots more questions. Happy to answer them. Have a good day, and we'll talk again soon.